Hello guys, today we are going to discuss about type 2 hypersensitivity reactions. So let's get started. What are type 2 hypersensitivity reactions? These reactions are also known as cytotoxic or antibody dependent cellular cytotoxic reactions. Normally our immune system can recognize what is self and what is non-self. But in this what will happen, this ability to differentiation which is lost. So IgG, commonly IgG antibodies will be produced, or rarely IgM antibodies will be produced against our self antigens, otherwise extracellular matrix antigens, our own self only. Okay, exogenous antigens which are absorbed onto the host cell. IgG or IgM antibodies will be produced against these type of antigens. So what is the mechanism behind it? Means complement mediated cytolysis will be occurring. What is complement mediated cytolysis? Means we already know we have three types of pathways, complement mediated pathways. One is classical pathway, another one is alternative pathway, another one is lectin binding pathway. In this classical pathway is involved, normally we know C1 will be produced. C1 will react with the antigen antibody complex, and C1 will differentiate C2 and C4 to C2A and C2A, C2B, C4A, C4B respectively, and this C4 will activate C3, and C3 will be differentiating into C3A, C3B, and this C3B, C4B, C2B along with the C1 antigen antibody complex will get what will get C5 convertase. These C5 convertase will convert C5A into C5B, C5 into C5A and C5B, and the further process will continue to produce C6, C7, C8, C9. This C5 to C9 we will call as membrane attack complex. Okay. This membrane attack complex will be involved in the lysis of the targeted cells. Okay. Complement dependent inflammation. This will be produced due to the vascular components C3A and C5A. These are also known as anaphylotoxins. Opsonization. Opsonization means these target cells can be readily recognized by the macrophages and neutrophils and engulfed by them through opsonization pathway. Means the C3B and C4B will act as opsonins, like chilies and onions on the bhaji. This C3B and C4B will be active, okay, and readily cause opsonization. This is opsonization phenomenon. Okay. And what is complement mediated type 2 reactions? What are they? Means transfusion reactions. So transfusion reactions, ABO incompatibility. If A plus blood group person will be given B positive, then what will happen? Severe clumping will occur. Okay, this is known as transfusion reactions. Erythroblastosis fetalis, we know already. RH incompatibility, RH negative fetus, RH negative female, RH positive fetus. RH positive fetus will be developing in RH negative mother, and during delivery of the baby, this placenta rupture will occur, and the RBCs will be getting into the mother's bloodstream, and mother will get sensitized. During second pregnancy, these antibodies, majorly IgG type, they will cross the placenta and they will cause severe clumping of fetal RBCs. So this condition, which is known as erythroblastosis fetalis or hemolytic disorder of newborn, as there is severe hemolysis and jaundice will be seen in the newborn. Okay, only subsequent babies are affected. The first baby will be born without effect. So we have to treat it with anti-RH antibodies immediately after the first delivery. So next, autoimmune hemolytic anemia, agranulocytopenia and thrombocytopenia. Okay, drug induced hemolytic anemia, as we see in von Zuck's disease. Primaquine taken individuals will suffer with Wongakis. One of the cause of Wongakis is primaquine. So during malaria they will take primaquine. If prolonged use of primaquine, it will lead to hemolysis, and subsequently hemolytic anemia will be occurring. Pemphigus vulgaris, against desmosomes antibodies will be produced, and cell adherence will be affected by this. This is known as pemphigus vulgaris. Next, we are going to discuss about ADCC. What is ADCC? What is antibody dependent cellular cytotoxicity? These IgG antibodies, they will coat on the target cells by reacting with the surface antigens through the FAB region. We know any antibody contains two portions. One is FAB and another is FC. FC will help in binding to the cell, and FAB will be helping to FAB. What it will help to recognize the antigen and binding to it. FC portion of this IgG then readily go and bind to the effector cells like NK cells, leading to the destruction of the targeted cells. Okay, auto antibody mediated auto antibody dependent cellular dysfunction will occur. Anti-receptor antibodies and activation of receptors will be occurring in Graves' disease. So TSH will be produced more and T3 T4 will be readily produced, and this will lead to Graves' disease. Inhibition of receptor myasthenia gravis, acetylcholine receptors will be inhibited. Autoantibodies will be produced against acetylcholine receptors, and myasthenia gravis, severe muscle paralysis and will be occurring in myasthenia gravis. Muscular wasting will occur. So we have to do hydrophonium test to differentiate myasthenia gravis from tetanic crisis or a calcemic crisis. Okay. Other examples of this one. ADCDs. Okay. Other examples, what are the other examples? Means Goods-Pasteur syndrome. In Goods-Pasteur syndrome, the antibodies will be produced against type 4 collagen. Okay. So we already discussed extracellular antigens, extracellular matrix antigens, antibodies will be produced. This is one example of that. Goods-Pasteur syndrome, antibodies will be produced against type 4 collagen. Pernicious anemia, antibodies will be produced against intrinsic factor, which is synthesized by parietal cells. Okay, B12. Then absorption of B12 will be lost. Then definitely will lead to pernicious anemia. Rheumatic fever, antibodies will be produced against streptococcal antigens. This will cross react with the heart through and they will enter into the heart through the circulation and will leads to severe crisis. Okay, this is rheumatic fever. And myocarditis, in Chagas disease mostly myocarditis will be occurring. Okay, here we will come to this nice diagram. This is target cell. Target cell examples we will take it as RBC. Okay, this is A blood group. So A antigens which are present on the RBC. So antibody. Then what will happen? This antibody will directly binds to the. So then what will happen? C5 to C9 means membrane attack complex. Target cell lysis will occur, and this C1423 this will be helping in the opsonization only. Then this C3A C5A we already said inflammation they will cause, and this C3B and C4B opsonization they, will occur. With this C3B receptor, this macrophage will recognize it, and it will leads to phagocytosis. As we saw this nice diagram, phagocytosis which is occurring. This is target cell antibodies. Target cell destruction will occur. As we saw before, this FC portion of IgG will bind to the effector cell. Effector cell is NK cell. Then antibody dependent cellular cytotoxicity which is occurring. Okay, if you like this video, please share, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening to me patiently. Okay, thank you. Good night guys. Good night.